This is Manchester United we're talking about.
This is Man United we're talking about.
This is Manchester 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 United we're talking about.
Oh, this is Manchester United we're talking about.
It's Manchester United we're talking about. Manchester United we're talking about here.
This is Manchester United we're talking about.
This is Manchester United we're talking about.
This is Manchester United we're talking about.
And this is Manchester United we're talking about.
This is Manchester United we're talking about.
This is Manchester United we're talking about.
It's Man United we're talking about. It's Man United we're talking about. It is Man United we're talking about. It's Manchester United we're talking about.
It's Man United we're talking about.
This is Man United we're talking about.
It's Manchester United we're talking about.
We're talking about Manchester United.
Yes, people, this is Man United we're talking about, and we're here to smash the likes on the video on entry, and also we're going to be just doing a little bit of the news update in terms of this Mbeumo transfer latest 70 million, and the shameless, if you might have heard me already say it on Never a Foul, but if you haven't, this is what the latest is with all of that is. A fake Spurs bid is the reason why they're holding Man United hostage in terms of the price valuation. This is 2025 and even clubs are getting shameless. And United have already found out there's been no confirmed bid from Tottenham from 2-3 weeks ago of 70 million. These are holding us for ransom, and it's, boy, United apparently set a deadline. It's spooky hours, spooky hours. Also, Villa, it's not the greatest link, but the valuation of latest is Watkins. They want around 60 million. Obviously, they're going to aim higher. Negotiation tactics is always the same thing. You put a high price tag, you literally negotiate it down. They're probably going to hope they're going to get around 55 million. I don't think they'll hold out for that. But there's also links with Arsenal again. So, with this whole Sesko stuff, it could be in a little bit of a pickle. Højlund is more likely to leave than he is to stay. That is what Laurie Whitwell said. But on the other hand, other sources have also said Andre Onana is not looking like he's going to leave this summer. So this whole situation with the goalkeeper, does he end up on the bench or is he the first team goalkeeper? It doesn't mean that United can't move for one. It's just whether they can have enough funds to go and do what they need to do, because there's some sort of 25 million, according to Alfredo Pedula, and Sky Sports and a numerous of other sources. You might have seen Fabrizio just said it a minute ago. Basically just recycling what them lot said. Apparently though, there's been an agreement of like 25 million for Jadon Sancho, and then basically at the last hurdle of along the lines, probably his wages, right? Let's be real. But he wants to move, but he also wanted to move to Napoli, and guess what? That broke down. So whatever happens there, if United can get 25 million, then they've had a bit of a successful spell, a lucky spell with Sancho for getting a total of 30 million and all his wages off the books without having to pay him off or any of that bullshit. So might be a small W in there for us. Might be. Anthony as well. I don't get this Batiste stuff. I read it earlier on. You might have seen it. You might not have seen it. What a load of malarkey, mate. That is absolute diabolical of a situation of allowing a player to just directly negotiate with one team, and they're saying that there's going to be some sort of obligation, but they got to figure out if Anthony wants to chop his wage and all that. What? I don't know. It's from this next Sevilla source, so I don't know how credible that really is. We'll go through all of this stuff. It's decent. At least it's something to talk about. At least, but here I am by myself. It's looking like Gyökeres is a bit long at the moment. Pause. It's looking a little bit spooky, people, but can't win them all, right? Might not be able to win. How about this? He might not end up anywhere. He's even dumped his missus, allegedly, to make sure and to tell Sporting that I'm not staying in Portugal whether you like it or not, and I'm forcing a move. I'm not returning to Sporting. So we'll see what happens there. All the best. Let's see what happens. Big up to anyone in the building. Make sure you smash the likes. Likes are super important. Subscriptions are super important if you don't mind, if you don't forget. I'm going to be doing more videos. I'm just going to wait on a little bit more. I've got some options of midfield and stuff like that. Links. You know how it goes. But big up to anyone that's in the building. Make sure you drop your comment in there. Some of you don't comment, so anyone that is watching that don't get involved with the live comments, big up yourselves as well. You're appreciated. Believe me, you're very much appreciated. But anyone that wants to comment, I'll big you up because I can see your names. Yusuf, I keep calling you Yusuf. I have a feeling he will go Arsenal. Paul, if Brentford wants 70 million, then I hope they get relegated next season. IDK, Arsenal want to pay 80 million euros for Gyökeres. That's not a bad price though. Isn't that not like something along the lines of £68 million or is that £70 million? That's not that bad, is it? When you deep it, he's a top striker. Let's not start laughing all of a sudden because we would pay it if he was available for us and he said Man United's the priority and then we also part of the money. We'll be saying it's good deal and it's good business. Do you know what I mean? So come on, man. I don't know if I've read that wrong or not. Nyashmus gone, alhamdulillah. We don't know that yet. I feel like Inter Milan are playing hardball, but United got to be more realistic. This whole full sell and Inter being keen, we've heard the same shit. Even if it is from Laurie Whitwell, right? I don't know if it's going to get sanctioned. They've already got their eyes on Esposito coming back to the club, and they've also got the other geezer coming in. So I don't know. Inter Milan, when it comes to them and trying to flaunt some money over, it takes a long time. It takes them forever even. I don't like dealing with them, personally. You'd think it'd get done nice and easily, but no. Chills, Defo Brentford put that fake bid. Of course they did. It's so obvious. We'll talk about Mbeumo in a sec after I stop bigging up everyone as well. Big up Amir. He says a lot of people just wait and see, be patient with Ruben Amorim next season. I'm on that flex with you. I'm with you on that part. Not everyone has to agree though. Robert Nasaya, fake news always, but we have to talk about it. Big up, Cass. Let's get this stream to 190 likes. You love your random numbers, but I appreciate you. I think Man United should walk away from the deal with Brentford, want 70 million. I'm going to be honest. Let's get down to it. Let me get a couple more of these comments in. 60 M's is criminal for him. At most, we should be doing 30, 45 M's. Are you talking about Watkins? I think you are. Cass, do you want Douglas Luiz? Yes, I'll take him. Of course I do. Brentford don't want 70 million. Spurs never put a bid in. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Wait, 20, did you not see it? allegedly. I don't know. That's his business, though, right? This whole thing with Mbeumo, I'm not gonna lie. Look, I saw what Laurie Whitwell said, and let's break it down a little bit. So United doesn't want to get taken a piss out of in small. You know, they don't want it to be viewed as a United tax. They don't want to be seen as they're overpaying, and I hear that part. We don't want to be taken for a ride, and I don't think Brentford would hold out for the whole 70 million, especially that the player, even though they said that he's happy to return to training and do another year with Brentford. He wants the Man United move, dream move, all of that, yada, yada. Great, right? Wants Man United back the Champions League. It's brilliant, right? On that perspective, on the player's perspective. I do believe, I don't know what bid's been put in yet, So I saw earlier that United's third bid will go in today. We don't know if it's going to get spoken about tomorrow or they want it done by the end of the week. It's more along the lines of how much are you willing to put up? And I know United are tight for cash. I feel like, for me, if you get in and around maybe the 65, 67 million mark, they would accept it. And I don't think I mind that either. Like, look, 70 million, when Semenyo's and other players of the world who have not even hit 10 goals, boy, and they're getting quoted at 60 million, 65 million, 55 million, and they're playing in another league. I do believe he's actually worth it in my eyes. I think United have to get this one over the line. Otherwise, if they do walk away over a measly couple million because they don't want to be seen as total prats, then we're going to find ourselves in probably another situation where another club might want to, I don't know who it may be. Well, we think it's going to be 50 million, but they want 55. How much are we going to hold out for all of this stuff? It's yet to remain, isn't it? Like, Mbeumo is a top player in my eyes. And I feel like he literally boasts our attack tenfold. But there's no way we can be going into this Leeds game or when he returns from holiday, going into pre-season. You can't let down Ruben Amorim all of a sudden and giving him Cunha only. Like, Ineos have to definitely look at themselves. And I know that apparently they're making improved bids day by day, but I don't know how it works in this whole negotiation part. But for me, it's like, just get over the line, stop being stupid, stop fannying around, and literally just give them not exactly what they want, but something reasonable. They might view him as a top player, which is fair. That's how they value him. We might value him in a different sense, but we're getting desperate now. And desperate doesn't mean it goes well all of a sudden, does it? I don't know about you, what you guys think, but this is just what I think. I do believe you should put up some money. Look, they put the 62.5 out. They want it structured differently. Cool. They might want it in certain amount of payments, which is fine. Do your thing. But you might have to give a little bit more so you can actually stretch it out. Pause again. Don't do that. I'm going to stop this pause stuff eventually. It does get on my nerves. But it could stretch it out financially in more in the long run. And I think that's what United are trying to do, because we're cheap and we've got to be cheap and we want to move on. But Brentford are playing hardball. They've lost Thomas Frank. They're going to want to reinvest into that squad as heavily as they can for the new coach. Even losing out on maybe Vissa this summer. Damsgaard's rumored to maybe leave as well. Norgard's left for a cheap amount. They're going to look at all these different players. I can see them going for Hillman for certain. He's only got like a 34 million release clause, or they want something along them lines. I can see him being a Norgard replacement. You know, it fits in. Sporting players doesn't exactly mean they go to top clubs all the time, but we saw Diamonde being linked with Palace. So I wouldn't say Hillman to Brentford is out of reach, but maybe he wants a different kind of club. Would you take Hillman at Man United? He seems like he'd be a decent fit. You know, he seems to be like kind of the profile. I used to be against it, but at the moment, I'm quite desperate. If United only want Jadon Sancho money as well, which we'll talk about, it doesn't. I don't really see the whole Douglas Luiz thing going in another direction. Maybe if you don't get Douglas Luiz, that means they're aiming higher. Surely, right? So, Cass, is it unrealistic to get Baleba? Absolutely. The guy's going to cost an arm and a leg. The market is crap. I agree as well. It's not great, is it, in terms of the striker market? Let alone this right wing market. Even the winger market is crap. Like when you deep it along the attacking lines of what's available or on that's actually about, you know, like I wouldn't even be mad if Man United decided, okay, we're not going to give 70 million that you want for Mbeumo. They go look at maybe someone like Mohamed Kudus, you know, and you know, and you go and pay that money there if it's going to go for 55 million. But I've seen that bid's been rejected. And they don't want that. They want something along the region of 60, 65. So you're going to put yourself in a similar situation. I think it would be absolutely absurd if United decide to pull out right now, considering it's been a month since the first bid that went in for him. You know, and it's been, what, a week since the other bid nearly been rejected. When did it get rejected? What, Friday? Was it Friday? So, yeah. The emotional idiot saying walk away. We always walk away towards what? That's not enough. There's not enough talent. Exactly, Seattle. That's exactly my thinking. I'm glad some of you see eye to eye, but I don't mind a difference of opinion as well, because we want players in. Ruben Amorim deserves at least a decent attack to be going into the first Premier League game in the season. We shouldn't be panicking either, because we do have another month of July. You know, there's another, what, 29 days, I think. There's 31. Is there 31 days in July? Yeah, I think I'm correct there. You'd think after being on this earth for 29 years, you know exactly how many days are put in per month, but here we are. Mbeumo contract until 2026 with an option for further year. They won't see an offer this high again. Of course they won't. But the way Bryan operate is quite similar to the way Brentford operate. And we all know they're a bit wishy-washy to kind of deal with. You know, this would be the same situation with Bryan. They play hardball until the very end. They get their price because these top clubs want the top players at any cost. Chelsea have shown that. With Caicedo, they paid top dollar for him. Even Cucurella, they paid top dollar for him. They even rejected, like, what was it, 2-3 million out? Even Gittins, they paid top dollar for him. And I don't agree with it, but, you know, the difference is Chelsea got an abundance in cash. United don't. They can afford to do that, right? It's the same thing with Brentford. Even when it comes to the Ivan Toney thing, you know, they got the top dollar for him in the end, considering he hasn't even played football for that long. He just come back from a ban. So dealing with all this stuff, they run really well. And you know what? I think it's good. It's good business on their end. I just don't think it's poor business if United end up paying, what, 65, 67 million for him. I think he's worth every single penny. Because when you put a price on goals, considering United only scored 44 last year, come on. You get Mbeumo, that's potentially half your goals scored already. And it doesn't work like that exactly. I know it doesn't. But he's at a point in his career where he's 25 going on 26, I believe, where maybe 20 goals becomes the norm. Maybe around 19, maybe around 18. Who knows? But at some point, a player gets older and they get much better. Of course they do. You know, they become more wiser on the pitch, more experienced, knowing what to do in certain situations. I just feel like you can't pass this situation up. Again, what Seattle said, I'm in agreement with you. Any Pratt that decides we should walk away, you let me know an alternative that we should go for that's going to do us a job where you know that we're definitely going to get at least minimum 15 goals. If you can tell me someone that I can, and I say, you know what, I believe you, then I'll call myself a Pratt. I don't mind. I'm one of them people that don't mind holding my hands up when I'm wrong. I don't mind abusing myself. I don't mean, do you know what I mean? I don't mean like self-harm, but like I don't mind being wrong. Sign Rodrigo, no. We can't afford that. Great situation, can't afford that. 50 non-penalty goals and 5 penalty goals. Decent. It's a decent output, isn't it? And you got to think about what he has that we lack as well in the team. You know, someone that's able to cross a ball properly. How long has it been since someone can actually cross the ball? You know, the only one that's actually that can cross the ball decently is either Bruno Fernandes, and sometimes that's hit or miss, but he's a great, when it comes to all of that stuff, he's brilliant at it. The other one's Luke Shaw. And why is he's not even sent to the gulag yet? How can our second best crosser in the team be Luke Shaw? It shouldn't be the case. Of course, he's been teched off since he was young, but Mbeumo has that element from the right-hand side at the least, not from centre mid, from right wing. And you know, when it comes to them back post crosses that we get absolutely crucified for, it would just be nice for once that someone can clip in the ball at the back post, creating for everyone, Cunha or I don't know, Dorgu, I don't know who, whatever player that decides that wants to run onto that overload. It'd just be nice. Like United are built of players that are great at crossing over the many, many years, overloading, attack. Do you know what I mean? Gung-ho, get up high up the pitch, stop play. You know, sometimes soak up pressure, play counter attack, literally attack with intent. And Mbeumo gives me that. Like Kudus gives me that. Not many players are available right now that's worth around 65 million for me that can do that job. Not for me. Walking away. I think even if it was 70 million, United got fleeced. I'll be like, you know what? Take it on the chin. We finished 15th. They know we're desperate. I wouldn't be overly mad about it. I'll be like, yeah, you know what? We did definitely overpay, but they know our situation. And that's not me trying to give an excuse to Ineos. It's just like, this is the game, isn't it? The game is game. Game is game. The club is cursed at this point. Yeah, you might be right, Daz. If this is the case, though, if he is to leave, I'll be over the moon. Power says, it's Power, right? Is that you're saying walk away 70 million in Mbeumo is not worth it. Man United just waste time to find better other targets. You let me know the other targets. I know it's not your job to find the targets, but I'd be interested to know who you have in mind that can guarantee us goals from the right-hand spot. I do, because maybe it might be a thing where United shift Ahmad there and say, you know what, you're going to be my right. You're going to be my right attacking 10, and we go get someone else at right wing back. A top-class one. If you lot can tell me one, I'll be interested to hear. And don't tell me Dumfries either. He's stiff. I mean, I'll take him, but I wouldn't want him. If you go from Mbeumo to Dumfries and shift in position change, I'd be absolutely livid. Yeah, we're all tired. I think we'll get a conclusion by Friday. By Friday, maybe by Sunday. We know that, you know, these parties do deal over the weekend. We've seen Here We Goes over the weekend as well. And you know what? Amram has made a demand that he needs players in basically by the 7th. I think it has backfired a little bit. But having 2 players in by the 7th is decent. As long as we can move on to this striker target and get all these players shifted, which is making some movement now at the very least. That's probably the biggest positive at the moment at United. Because we didn't see none of that last month. It was just murmurs. Cats, we should get Munoz from... Oh, don't threaten me with a good time, Yusuf. Don't threaten me with a good time. He's wicked player. I'm not going to lie. I would love a player like Munoz, but it seems like Amram's kind of got this obsession slightly, maybe with a left-footed right wing back of some sort. So I don't know. I don't think he's what. Yeah, but think of it like this, Essex. Yeah, you'd probably pay 65 million for him, but you wouldn't pay 70. Like, who else? What would you go for? Like, that's what I'm saying. Let me know some options. Use the money to get in Gyökeres ASAP. Go for a wing back later. Yeah, but we got one small issue here. Gyökeres, which we can obviously speak about because this whole Watkins price, it's not actually the far of the quotations for what Gyökeres is Sporting's, you know, Gyökeres is what's he called, his owner, whoever owns him at the moment, Sporting's president, sorry. Like, it's probably about 10 million difference in what he probably wants for Gyökeres. The issue is he's waiting for Arsenal. We can't wait on Arsenal to go and get the striker unless we force their hand. Because Gyökeres is not a guarantee in a Prem, by the way. This is another thing. It's not a guarantee. If you're going to say 70 million for Gyökeres or 70 million for Mbeumo, I'm choosing Mbeumo. All day long, I'm choosing Mbeumo. Because we got Joshua Zirkzee up front at least. And I think that front three is a good balance. I'm not saying it's the most ideal in terms of what we need, maybe is a number 9. But Mbeumo's guaranteed you goals. I think he's guaranteeing you goals. I don't think Gyökeres is guaranteeing you goals as of yet. It's still a risk. I don't think United want to pay top dollar for a huge risk without having at least a, you know, you could call it a Premier League proven base that you know that you can rely on match week by match week. I saw this Dumfries 25 million release clause. I'm not his biggest fan. I'll be honest. I'm not his biggest fan. He is a bit too stiff for me. I would like someone a little bit more agile. Does get goals though. I admit that here and there. Not too many, but he's definitely someone that maybe United should have on the list potentially if it's available. Because it's there until what, mid-July? I think it expires mid-July. Yeah, this Mbeumo guarantees 15 goals, assists, in my opinion. Well, he needs to do more than 15 goals and assists altogether. Cass, what's your reaction if United don't get Mbeumo? My head's gonna fly. I'm not gonna lie, my head will fly. Just thinking about it, I'm slightly. I don't want to get into the mode where I'm starting to just get negative. I'm too tired to get hot at the moment, and it is quite hot in the UK as it is, but not yet. It's not that time, and I know you're waiting for it. You're waiting for it to load up, but I don't think you're going to get that reaction. Not getting Mbeumo would be a massive failure considering the time spent trying to get him. That's another point. The amount of time it's taken Man United to try to get him over the line, and it's what has it been 4 weeks now, going on 5 weeks. It's like if you don't get over the line, that shows how incompetent these lot are. And it doesn't give me confidence. Someone who's backed in here saying, I love our targets, I like what we're doing at the moment, let's wait and be patient. If you all of a sudden don't go and get that over a few million, it shows me Matt Hargreaves, Jason Wilcox, and whoever else negotiates within this space, you're a bunch of frauds. Do you know what I mean? You can't always have release clauses. Cunha was an easy deal. Cunha was a release clause, literally. And even then, the structure of the payment, they still got fleeced for the structure of the payment. They bowed down to what Wolves wanted. You know, they tried to work their way around it. They said no. Jared Bowen, no, he's not going to be available. He's Mr. West Ham. He's not going nowhere. Pedro Gonçalves, nowhere near as good as, he's not guaranteeing you goals. Edin Zagova, I don't know too much about that guy, so I couldn't exactly give you an opinion. I can't take this club seriously anymore. You might say that, but if Mbeumo gets done this week, then you're not going to say that, though, are you, Marcus? If it is this week, let's be real. We got told it was meant for a medical this week. Maybe he still is. Who knows? We need to go bust Kang Lee from PSG. He literally is a wide playmaker. Yeah, but he's not guaranteeing you goals. That's the issue. We need goals. These players sound great in theory. Don't get me wrong. On paper, it sounds amazing, but like the whole policy around United right now is to get Premier League proven players if they're available. Why isn't he causing a fuss? Who? Zagrova is cold. He might be, but I don't know much about him, so I can't really give an opinion. Who does he play for? You know what? Let me search him up because I'm pretty sure that name rings a bell. I don't know. He plays for Lille. I ain't watched too much of them. No, I started off the season watching them, but I stopped watching them. Only United can drag out a deal like this. Chelsea paid 55 plus 5 for a guy with 10 Prem goals. We can't pay 65 for 20 Prem goals. What? Oh, do you mean why can't we pay 65 for 20 Prem goals if Chelsea paid basically 60 million for 10 Prem goals? Is that what you're saying? Walk away from Mbeumo if they take the piss and go for Kudus if possible. Why? They're asking for the same price. They're asking for 60 to 65 million. What's the difference? If no Mbeumo, I'm saying button the attack and go get the midfield and go. Goalkeeper, midfield and goalkeeper, maybe. Nobody guarantees goal. Playing well guarantees goals. Look at Sterling at City. Yeah, but United's got a big risk at the moment with all of that. You know, we don't even know if this manager's good enough to lead the helm at United. And right now, we need players that can get us out of situations. And I hear it, you know, the team's got to play well altogether. You can't just be relying on individuals. You know, the team's got to come together and work well. But it's like you need to literally nullify that risk as much as possible. And I'm not going to lie, 20 league goals is nullifying the risk as much as possible. For me, I don't think I'm in agreement. I don't think we're overpaying. I think he is worth about 65 million when you deep the market. So yeah, it is what it is. We'll see what happens with Mbeumo. That's the latest on his price. You know, this whole 70 million stuff. We'll go from there. And the other one about this is where United would be overpaying is Watkins. If they want 60 million for Watkins, then that's when I'll be like, no, walk away from that. You go for Mateta, please. Like, if there's an option to get Mateta over the line, it should be now. If they're saying 60 million and they stand firm around 60 million, 55 million, and I know United's been in contacts with Watkins and to understand the situation, what Villa want, we don't even know if that's actually the price that they want because they wanted that in January. But you can't ask for 60 million for a guy that's 29, turning 30 this December, who might be even on the decline at that. You know, it is a bit of a stopgap. He's got 3 years left as well. he only scored 16 goals last year. 2 of them were penalties as well. There was a bit of a situation who was like identified as their striker. I'm not being funny, but if United, I don't think United will either. I don't think United will part of that money for Watkins, but I feel like United will value him the same way Arsenal did, probably around 40 to 45 million. Now, if you pay anything over 50 million is a stretch already for me. But anything over that is overpaying for me. Like I like the idea of Watkins in that front three that we're meant to be getting, or the front two players that we've got and one that we're meant to be getting. I like the idea of it, but the reality of, if you can go spend that money in a different area, then you should save as much money as possible, especially if it is tight, right? I mean, I like the idea. Like Watkins, I feel would hit the ground running. Actually, funny enough, I think he'd do really well, and I think we'd get really pissed off with him. But in the same breath, I can't say no if he is available for that price. And I know a lot of you, and we explained this, the last 2 days since we've been linked with him. We have Højlund. If Højlund is to go and they say, you know what, we got, let's say, a permanent deal. And we know Laurie Whitwell said the Højlund situation is literally, he's likely to go and it's more likely to be a permanent situation. United might have to take a loss so they can get some cash on board. Then really and truly, if they say, yeah, we get rid of Højlund and we bring in Watkins, that's an instant upgrade. But I'm not paying 60 million for Watkins, and I don't think United will either. I think we'd be deluded to think that if United don't want to pay a certain amount for Mbeumo, they're certainly not paying a certain amount for Watkins. But anything to bash Ineos, right? I chuck in a 35 million bid because Aston Villa PSR's in a bin. Not anymore. They sold their women's team, and the PSR's now rolled over. They got now their successful period of whatever that year was, or financial quarter, whatever, I don't know. And now it's rolled over to this year. They're fine. They can make a certain loss and they can go and do what they need to do. But if they want to go and reinvest in the striker market, I mean, they're going to want to have a little bit of cash on hand. Maybe getting rid of Watkins' wages might do them some good. Maybe they got back in for Rashford, or maybe that money they can use and go get Garnacho. So many different ways of looking at it, but taking out Højlund for Watkins is a 10-10. Anyone, you know what? At this point, I'm kind of unsure why we didn't go for someone like Jonathan David on a free. We're talking about underrated players in world football and strikers. Jonathan David was there. Apparently was willing to come to United. We never put an offer for him or made any remote interest. On a free, you can't go wrong. He does kind of similar jobs to Watkins, run channels, decently strong player. He has a lot of big missed chances, but he scored 50 goals in Ligue 1 in the last 2 years, if I'm correct, or 25 overall in each stage. Something along them lines. Why did we make the best out of that situation? This is what I mean. We want to talk about market opportunities, and I know it's not exactly risk if he's on a free. His wages are not exactly amazing either. So getting him is a cheap option if United want to go down a budget route, but we never did that. I don't understand why we didn't take a chance. He fits that mold of what Ruben Amorim wants. Someone that can play across the front three, does it really well. When he comes in front of goal, he's not exactly the worst. I wouldn't say he's even that much worse than Watkins. I think he's better than Watkins in front of goal. The one thing that Watkins has over him, in my opinion, is that he's better in the air. No? Ain't Villa in their financial problems? How dare they demand 60 million? No, not anymore. Remember, it's rolled over. It's the new financial period now. So they sold their women's team. Carla would be an upgrade over Asmus. Of course he was. Aston Villa in a strong position here, so they can demand even 75. But it's unrealistic if they're going to do that. Because if they want to get rid, what they have? They have an issue with their wages. Regardless of this PSR shit and all of that stuff, they got to do that UEFA regulations, where they have to something along the lines of revenue made to wages has to be like something like 70%. I might not even be explaining it in the best form possible, but they got to definitely deduct. That's probably a good reason why they probably told Martinez he can leave. He's on like 150 grand. You know what? Let me go check how much Watkins is on. He's only signed an extension deal a few years ago. So Watkins is on. So his expiration 28, 130k, but it's not even that bad. 130,000 a week is not that bad. He's going to get one little last payday. If you put him on the same kind of wages as like Cunha and Mbeumo, which is rumored to be around the region of 150, 160, 165, you can't really say no to that. It's definitely an upgrade, isn't it? What else have we got going on? Xerxes and Watkins would be a good striker pairing. You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong, to be fair. Can be definitely used. 90% is the wages at Villa. So yeah, getting that off the books is definitely something we can definitely look at. I think United will try and make the best of the situation. We just need legit. I think the only point I can say on this, because I've spoken quite heavily a lot on Watkins, and I don't want to keep repeating myself until something fresh comes out, is we need to know what the price is. I'm surprised Laurie Whitwell hasn't exactly got the price. I don't know why it even takes that long. If you're an insider, how do you not even know the price yet? If he's spoken to Villa to understand, surely they just like say, oh yeah, you know what, mate? Yeah, we value him at like 60 million. Okay, cool. Down. You got your news. How much is he worth? 60 million. Cool. Let me go tell everyone else. Surely it must be that simple. No? Or am I missing something? Maybe it's not that standard. Like it's not as standard as that. Watkins, 15 goals a season, not a bad option. Depends on the price. Of course, same thing, Red Devils. Big up yourself, by the way. Hope you're good. Why can't Vivell find a strike outside the major leagues who can come in? I think it's Man United's policy. I'm actually convinced, and I think everyone else should be convinced by now. United want to shop in the Premier League if it's possible as the first choice. That's what I think it is. They want a base, and you can't blame it, because every time we do shop outside, we got to wait for them to integrate. We got to wait them to, I don't know, get involved with the culture, settle in potentially. You know, they might need a year of adjustment. I think it's too much risk has happened over the years with Man United and signings. You're like your Hoylands getting over Ahmad for a big price as well, and he had to settle in differently. I know he's a lot younger at that point. Or I don't know, you can just name me any other player that's come over. Xerxes took a while to settle in. He didn't exactly hit the ground running. Played with a bunch of shit as well, let's be honest. You know, Dorgu, he's had to adapt. Even though he was cheap, he still had to adapt. It's too much. It's too much. If you get someone that's ready now, and don't get me wrong, they're not guaranteed to hit the ground running at United, but again, it's about nullifying that risk. And to be fair, when you think about it, other than like your careers, other than Watkins, and he's gone Jonathan David, like what really is available? You're gonna have to go scout another young player, probably from South America, that's gonna cost you 25, 30 million, and there's no guarantees around it. So Premier League proven helps Man United and Amram. Of course it does. Short term. I'd get Guirassy for 60 million. I don't think Guirassy would suit us. We could, if we were going to get him, we should have got him out of time for 17 million. Stupid, isn't it? Stupid. I don't know. There's something about Bundesliga that I despise a little bit. Like, other than Ekitike, because he's a superior footballer. But even then, I wouldn't want to pay 8 million for Ekitike. I think that's a waste of money, man. Waste of resources. For me, 80 million, you better be doing absolute thunderous amounts for me. But yeah, what likes are we on? We have got 300 people in the house. So big up to anyone here. If you don't mind subscribing, if you're new, it's your chance as a reminder. If you haven't liked as well, another little bit of a reminder. We're on 59 likes while there's 300 in the house. So we definitely know that we can definitely boost those likes to 100 upon hearing what I'm asking for politely. So yeah, 60 likes at the moment and counting. I was literally just talking. I don't know if you're watching it back, but I was just talking on Watkins just now. Again, I'll take him. Look, I'll take him. That's just my final part on that. You know what? Let me put a reminder in it for anyone. There we go. Cool. And remember, I go live at 9 a.m. So if you haven't done it yet, and I don't know if you do it for other YouTubers, but if you want to hit that notification bell, again, much appreciated again. So yeah, big up for all the support recently. So I'm loving it. You know, 9 a.m. shows, you'd be surprised. I think if I split it up to 1 at night and 1 in the morning, I kind of cover everyone that might be watching in Asia, maybe in somewhere as far as Japan, to obviously in Europe, let alone someone that's in America. So I'm trying to cover all bases here. I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying to figure out what's good and what's not good. And it's not like you ain't heard it on like United Stand if you watch it, or let alone, I don't know, Red Devil United's page. Let alone, I don't know, like you probably heard all of this stuff already on Alice's channel, but you ain't heard it from me yet. The other part is which is good, is the sales part. I think there's one positive with United at the moment is we're getting a move on with some of these want-away players that we want to get rid of. You know, Sancho, I think that for me, it was him and Rashford that was probably the most difficult, and I thought this might stretch out to the end of the window in terms of like the end of August. So I can't stand Sancho. He gives me the flipping ick, man. I'm just gonna drop the act. Great footballer, but fucking good riddance. Good riddance, man. He does my head, and I can't wait to hear that he struck personal terms with them, you know. And look, an agreement of 25 million, whether it's true or not, I'm going to believe Alfredo and the rest of them as well. Like, I believe that Juventus can put up the money. I do believe they got the money. They're like the richest club in Italy. But good fucking riddance. I shouldn't swear. Like, I don't really like swearing as much, but I can't stand the sight of that man. Every time I see his photo, I don't even want to put him on a damn thumbnail. I can't stand him. Honestly, he might be one of the biggest wastes of money in United history. I don't think he's given us more than 5, 6, 7 above 8 out of 10, let alone 7 out of 10 performances in a United shirt in the space of 4 years. Can you believe he's been there for 4 years? I don't know. He's such a waste of talent. And you know what? It's like it's United's fault. And it's not probably all his fault. I think United's probably treated him in a certain way as well. There was a point when he was working really hard and trying to get back in the good books. He's just come back from being gulagged into the mountains, trying to get back into the team. And he has a good pre-season, and Ten Hag treats him the way he does. The way you were playing when he played false nine looked really good, and he didn't give that chance. I don't blame him for going a little bit AWOL, but this is why you just don't give too much too soon, because then you get situations like this. We should, in a world where an obligation get cancelled for 5 million, you know, getting rid of him for potentially 25 million. In the end, it's only a 5 million plus in United's, you know, in United's case. Like, who thought that we get 30 million for Sancho and all his wages are going to be gone as well, which is like 10 million. You're basically saving 40 million. Go get someone that's going to be put on way less wages. You know, the whole PSR stuff on the books, it looks way better, right? Of course it does. But boy, what a fucking waste of talent, man. Why did we even bother? I remember there was even questions around his explosiveness at the time, like when he used to come over. But you thought, you know, oh, Ronaldo, we set him up. But then he's ended up going backwards. It's so annoying. It's frustrating. It really is. Like, it shouldn't really get on my nerves. I don't get frustrated particularly like whenever I hear his name. It's just like, just a waste, man. It's just a waste. I can't comprehend it as much as I want to put into words. I'm probably just not that educated. It's just flipping hell. It's been a long time coming. And if this one doesn't happen, I don't even think he's going to go. I think Juventus are our last hope, you know. Doesn't want to go Saudi, which I don't understand if you're about your money. Wants to stay in Europe. Never really spoke to Fenerbahce. Juventus is literally the only option. It's the only option. How can we put all our eggs in one basket of an Italian side? And we best hope, because they pay some good wages. It's 20% tax over there, not 45%. So it should somewhat be decent. He should be able to take what, 30%, 1,000 cut or something like that. It should be okay, but it's just good riddance. It's same thing with Garnacho as well. And I'm surprised we haven't heard more news on Garnacho. He's like the only player that we haven't heard noise on. I'm hoping Bayern Munich do come in for Rashford. If this whole, you know, thing with Luis Diaz, you know, they said he's not for sale, brilliant. Going for Rashford now, please. Just get gone. It's just been a long time coming where it's a potential situation in United where we can move on as a fan base and a club, go get some decent players and perform better, because the last 2 years have been nothing short of dog shit. And it's like there's always one catch or two catches with United where it's just like, flip sake, that's going to be the hold up. We can't do anything till next year, but we'll sell him next year. It is. I can't be the only one that shares the same thoughts. Big up for yourselves. I hope your club gets over the line. I hope you got a link as well. Tell him to hurry the F up. Monaco would suit his ass if he wants a tax haven thing about him. You go play with Pogba. But I don't even think he would handle that. I don't think he'd handle Liga. I think he'd get smashed to pieces. Yeah, well, not now, but he's going to have to soon when he realizes that no one else wants him. Bayern going in for Rodrigo if it's available. I don't think they will, personally. Maybe, you know what? Never say never. Players are as good as last season. If Kudus replicate the first season of West Ham, almost all top 4 teams will be ready to pay his release clause. Or they wait for it to expire so they get it for cheaper, because that's what you call good business. No? Rios is available for 20 million. I see that, but that looks like just a link that's just got recycled. I mean, I need to read it again. I want to go read the article if there is one. I want to see if it's by a different journalist or it's literally the same thing that we saw last week. If we are going to scout him, you know what? Brilliant. I'm taking him. If we're talking 20 million, you got literally a choice. If you want to go down the cheap route, you sell Sancho. Cool. You either go get Douglas Luiz if you're not convinced, and he's already Premier League proven, by the way. Go and get Richard Rios. He's one of the best centre mids in Brazil at the moment. He's literally handling himself very well and conducting himself very well in the the Club World Cup. So yeah, I'll be all for it. He looks like he's a bit of a destroyer. He can be one if he decides to be one. You know, when it comes to interceptions and that, he's everywhere. Fast, rapid. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm still not yet convinced in the first phase, only because with Palmeiras, they don't really play out the back too well. They just hoof it if they have to. You know, get it to Esteval as quick as possible. I know they move it with their right back, and then you see it going to Richard Rios and he drives the ball, but he's playing a more like attacking box-to-box role. I need to see something more on the defensive side of things, because all those interceptions that is high on the green bars of like FB ref, is that like further up the pitch, or is that in the defensive third or in an attacking third? You know, I see his tackles has got a high rate of that as well. You know, he definitely looks, these Brazilians and these Colombians, these South Americans, they love a battle, don't they? So, and obviously he's Colombian. These man, he loves a tussle. I can't knock it, but it all comes about who's the perfect partner for Bruno. He definitely looks like he fits the mold. But again, it's like who's picking up the ball off the defenders. I need to see some more of him in the defensive part. I just can't see it. Not yet anyways. We need something a little bit more concrete. These Brazilian journals love to make up shit left, right, and center. So I hope so. If he's there, I hope so. It would be good. If he can knock out Chelsea, his price has gone up for me. And if he can do well against Chelsea, I don't know when they play him, and he puts in a performance and a half, then I'll be like, you know what? Go get him. If you're gonna really go and scout him and you're gonna see him play well against Chelsea, I think, you know what? It's a good way to go, isn't it? Because he's playing up against one of the best midfields in that whole tournament in Caicedo. Now he's got to play against João Pedro when he comes on. They got Andre Santos yet to be unleashed. Enzo Fernandez is having a good time there. You know, Lavia is fit. Let's see how he fares. We play Friday. Okay, that's good. Rios got linked to Inter by Mateo. I can see that. Like, I can see Chanahoglu going. He's played more of a deeper role, innit? And he looks like he's going Galatasaray. That looks like an easy deal to pull in for them. You know, he gets rid of him for like 10, 15 million. They bring him in for 20 million. So it'd be good. Caicedo's, because, ooh, that's the one. That's the one. It's a shame I'm out all Friday, but Joey, like, if you do got Saturdays available, I'm around all day. And I know we got to let, you know what? I need this, man, then. If you don't know, I run a channel. I don't just go on this channel. If you're just subscribed to here, and sometimes I know a lot of you just want to hear just single club base, but I do never a foul. It's like top 6 banter, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Chelsea get knocked out. Wait, the things me and want. I like Chelsea, that's the thing, but when I'm hearing, oh, I'll see you in the semi-finals with Daps, he's a Man City fan, he got knocked out. I need it. I need it. I really do. Palmeiras don't play the greatest of football. They do play a bit of counter-attack. And then, you know, they tried to break a lot of the times. And, you know, when it comes to the final third, I think they struggle a little bit as well. And Chelsea do really well against low blocks. We saw that against Benfica. They couldn't handle it. They really couldn't handle it. I think João Pedro adding a little sign. Gittins, let's see what flex he can bring. We'll have a little look. But anyways, people, smash the likes. What likes are we on? As long as I'm on 100 likes, I'm happy. Not 7 likes away. So big up to anyone that did like the video. So appreciate you. I'm trying to do longer lives now. So hence why I'm doing more 45 minutes ones or 40 minutes. You know, you know what? Even though I've done a thing with Shells yesterday, it's just us two. It's a good conversation. But I tell you all the time, having conversations with the chat, the live chat, I feel like I just like that a lot more in it. I'm gonna say panel shows probably for the weekends, but this one-to-one stuff, I find it quite therapeutic. So yeah, how much is Anthony's valuation? It's inshallah, that's what it is. But apparently United need 32.5 million. Who's live? Is anyone going live? Joey, you going live? Are you going live, Joey? Have you got? I ain't seen nothing set up for you. You got live or not? Nah, all right, cool. I think Touchline is Touchline's you know Touchline by now. I think he's got a live going on. Lee's like, let's go raid Touchline. Touchline's a Man United fan. A lot of you are Man United fans as well. So he might continue that conversation on for you guys. So yeah, we're gonna go do that. this whole Man United, this is Man United we're talking about. What I've got something. I'm gonna make it look more professional at some point. So don't worry, I'm not gonna do it. Someone else is. But yeah, let's go raid him.